In a landmark move to enhance transparency and efficiency in Nigeria's financial system, the Central Bank of Nigeria has unveiled a phased overhaul of the fixed income market set to begin in November 2025. The initiative grants the Apex Bank full control over the settlement process and trading platform, aiming to strengthen regulatory oversight and improve monetary policy transmissions. With a structured rollout that includes rigorous testing and stakeholder collaboration, the reform underscores the CBN's broader agenda to unify market operations and deepen financial market integrity. We have joining us now Odinaka Linus-Nwokonkwo, SSA Fixed Income Trader. Thank you for your time. All right, you appear muted, but I'm sure we'll get that fixed in a moment. But to get the conversation rolling, the new system, right, it promises more transparency, regulatory oversight. What specific inefficiencies or risks, in the current setup is the CBN actually working to fix?
So I would say from the current setup, right, I won't say they have a lot of inefficiency. What CBN is just trying to do is just to take over the management of that process. Currently, there's a part of that process that is being managed by FMDA, so which is called the QX platform. So the QX platform kind of has an API framework and sends messages to the S4, which passes the settlements accounts into the respective banks. So what the CBN is trying to do is to have their own QX platform and take up that responsibility away from the FMDA, such that we have a one-stop shop. CBN handles the S4 and then the settlements platform that kind of interfaces in the for trading.
And obviously, with transitions like this, we know that there needs to be stakeholder engagement for it to run smoothly and no hurdles along the way. So what role do you see key stakeholders like the Financial Market Dealers Association, what role will they play during the transition, and why is their collaboration critical for this to be successful?
So historically, the FMDA is quite very active. The FMDA comprises of the back office operations, the front office, treasurers, and other market participants. So they are the users of this application. They are also the ones that will kind of guide CBN in terms of operationality and how efficient they want that process to be. So CBN will be doing a lot of communication and engagement with these stakeholders, such that they are able to align properly, and rather than making the process a little more bureaucratic, just to make it seamless and make sure that the entire objective is actually met. So the treasurers, the settlement process in terms of the treasury operations, the market risk, everyone will be needed to bring up their inputs as we do go on into this phase transition.
And of course, objectives, you brought up objectives. Those that be asking who benefits from this shift, right? The investors, what's in it for them, financial institutions, and even the broader economy. So in what ways would you say each particular group will be impacted and hopefully positively by this transition?
So we don't know what the benefits will be for the banks, but I know there's a layer of cost for FMDQ for doing that platform. So I don't know if the CBN will be charging banks for this new setup and also the cost. I'm sure these are things that will probably be communicated quite later. In terms of investors, we are going to see a bit more, I would say, transparency, because also on the trading side, the CBN is trying to bring everyone on board. When you look at the sector, like mentions the fact that the pension funds will kind of be in the trading platform. Currently, we do not have them on the two-way trading. For any trade they want to do, they literally have to chat the banks to be able to consummate that. So I don't know what CBN is trying to bring that in terms of the interface. So that way, if everyone comes on one platform, you have a lot of visibility and also liquidity, which is something very major for international investors. And I am aware that CBN is also trying to see if we can be listed in the JP Morgan Index. And all these reforms are tailored towards ensuring that the financial market is kind of very transparent, so that the offshores are not left out in terms of being obscure towards what it's doing. And that's a major criteria for being listed into the JP Morgan index. So that there's a lot of liquidity in the market.
We're really hunting for that FPI. And let's see how this perhaps boosts foreign investor confidence. But we know that this will be done in phases, right? And there's particular changes that are expected with each phase. So what specific changes should market participants expect during the, for example, user acceptance testing and pilot phase? Why are these stages designed this way?
So the first stage is the user acceptance. I mean, that's the stage where the entire chain will kind of check at the application to be able to ensure that it meets the desired expectation. We have the current setup. CBN is trying not to obstruct that setup and not to interfere to ensure that everything runs smoothly. So the user acceptance stage is more like telling the users to say, okay, go and test these applications and ensure that this is best fits and meets your expectation. After that, there's a phased usage. So both applications will be running concurrently as CBN try to phase away the previous one. Then we have the settlement application, the settlement process where CBN goes fully live into the settlement application before they go into the trading. The settlement side is more like an easy fix because we already have something running in that line, which is why I'm thinking they are doing that first. The other line where they want to bring in the PFAs and also the asset managers into the trading platform, we do not have that point. So it's quite, I'm sure that would require a lot of time and a lot of engagement with FMDA to also think about how that interaction would be on the trading platform. If you can recall, the CBN has already done a lot on the FX market. The BMAT platform is also very transparent. So this is more like a shift towards the fixed income. And all this is geared towards making sure that there's investor confidence, making sure that there's volatility in the market, and the liquidity is also kind of very, very well, let's say, is liquidity in the market and is to be able to ensure robust offshore participation, because you need their participation to be able to drive those investments.
Interesting. I mean, you've clearly stated the objectives, but the hows are perhaps what people may still have questions about. We know that the CBN is integrating trading and settlement under one regulatory umbrella, as you have pointed out. So, I mean, what does this say about the bank's broader vision for financial market governance in Nigeria, and how does this achieve that?
So, the CBN prides itself in, efficient market regulation, building integrity, and also a bit transparent. We've seen the CBN do a lot of reforms. First, they started with the FX. And when you look at what they've done with FX, it's quite commendable. Today, we do not have a lot of wide discrepancies in a lot of FX rates. So every deal is kind of seen on the BMAT platform. And so this is more like a shift to the fixed income side to ensure that this same thing is translated in the fixed income space. We have one-stop shop from trading to settlement, all managed by the central bank. We have a trading platform where there's a bit of quicker rates transmission. Remember that the CBN handles the MPC and also sets the MPR. So they need that transmission mechanism to also be quick and ensure that it's properly reflected in the market when these MPC decisions are made. So it's more or less more like they are trying to bring a platform where all their objectives are kind of met from the FX side. So an international investor who wants to come into the market gets into the bank, gets a very transparent quote from the bank, converts his or her funds via to Naira and gets his CCI, comes into the fixed income space. There's a clear, transparent process where he or she can buy bills, buy bonds, and any other instruments and gold. And when the such FPI also wants to leave, the FPI is also seeing a very clear quote, transparent quote, that's market that is quite very, very liquid, and the person exits profitably or exits without any deposit. So it's a one-stop shop. So CBN is trying to bring the entire financial market into to be able to satisfy its needs and also satisfy the needs of offshore investors. And like I said, this is a major requirement for being listed into the JP Morgan Index. You need a very, very active market and a transparent market, and a market that is very, very, very liquid, such that when someone wants to leave, there is no case of the bond or the instrument is not available, or there's no pricing for it, or there's a wide put, the bidder spread is kind of wide. CBN is trying to solve some of these issues, and that's major in what they're trying to do in driving economic activity.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they seem to have it pretty well figured out, but then there are those who ask, what challenges will arise from, shifting this trading environment to a CBN-sponsored platform? Who will be responsible for regulating the regulator, if I can put it that way, and resolving operational or technical issues during the transition?
I don't see any not challenge, because systems on this is not a novelty idea. If I would say, this is more like we are just trying to do what is already being done. The only novelty idea is apparently on the trading side. On the settlement side, I don't see any much issue from the challenge. The CBN probably will have a team who handles the settlement process, and also will just learn more like take a cue from what the FMDA has been doing in terms of trying to ensure seamless settlement and reduce the impact of failed trades in the market. So I don't really see any major serious challenge towards in this phasing out process as in regards to CBN managing this application. Okay,
a lot of confidence expressed there. But as regards some of the changes, who now qualifies as a primary dealer, a market dealer, or PFA in this new ecosystem, and what responsibilities or compliance expectations will they, face after the reform?
There's no change in who becomes a primary dealer, market maker. That's the PDM. All those things are still same. The PFAs are well known. These are the pension funds administrators. So nothing changes in all those aspects. Everything is still the same. The PDMM are still the PDMM as advised by the CBN. This is more like trying to solve a trading and settlement process, not as opposed to trying to change the market participant or who participates in the market. It's more like the solving trading and settlement process, as I said. So everything still remains the same, except communicated otherwise. Okay,
so no major shocks from what you're saying. Finally, lessons, right? So what lessons do you think we can learn from similar fixed income market reforms in other emerging economies, and who is guiding the CBN in aligning with, the international best practices?
So when you look at our contemporaries, I would say even in Africa, I think we are one of the best in terms of fixed income. Most African countries don't even have proper fixed income markets. They don't even know how to price some of these instruments. So Nigeria kind of is leading in this. I would say also Ghana, and we've done a rollout. We've done a lot, right? I'm sure Bloomberg will also be partnering with CBN on because the trading platform will be hosted on Bloomberg, and also the APIs and integration will be hosted. So Bloomberg will also bring that wealth of experience and expertise. The FMDA is also there to guide the CBN in terms of what requirements they need to be able to solve some of the maybe imminent issues they face. So in terms of what we are seeing in emerging economies, I think Nigeria is leading in most of the African markets when it comes to settlement processes of fixed income. In fact, even in the popular Europeans, everything is still done manual. Still a challenge. Settlement is still a challenge. People still send mails to be able to settle some of their transactions. So in our local market, it's automatic and seamless. And I think we've done quite well in that regard.
All right, you're patting us on the back. But thank you once again for your time, Odinaka Linus-Nwokonkwo, SSA Fixed Income Trader.